Do I need to use this so the TV works? Okay, and you can hear me. Excellent. Let me get my clicker. I forgot it. All right, this is workshop number 2 for Envision Walnut Grove. Today we're going to review what we did at the first workshop, summarize what we learned. We're going to go over the results of the survey, and we're going to do what's called a visual preference survey, and that's what we use all the boards for, and you all will get little stickers to put on the boards. It's kind of fun. And then we're going to do a group discussion where we talk about the boards, because you could put a bunch of stickers on one of these boards and I will make assumptions of what that means, but you know what assumptions are, So, and then we'll wrap it up. The goal is to get out of here at 7:30 so you can enjoy the last bit of daylight, if it's still daylight at that point. All right, so if you remember last time we were here, we did what's called a strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats thing. Now, I'm violating all the PowerPoint rules here by writing so much on these slides, and I'm doing that because they're also online. So if you want to go and print this out and share it with your friends or look at it or take a picture of it and put it on social media, whatever, you can do that. Envision-walnut-grove.com. Anyway, so strengths. You guys can read. Lots of strengths. I would say that you can summarize them by saying you're a small town that is experiencing some growth, and there's growth pressure because it's such a small town environment. You're in between areas that are growing, and there's development pressure. You've got some great resources here, the church that we're in, the new library, this whole potential cul-de-sac, the street out here. I'm just going to go through these real quick because the dot thing is really the purpose of this workshop. Weaknesses. I put a picture of a truck up there because that's one of the dominant things that people talked about is the trucks going through. I don't think they go through that fast, but maybe they do sometimes. But there's safety concerns with all the truck traffic and traffic in general, and then limited services. Need for parking and improved infrastructure. Sidewalks was actually the piece of infrastructure that came up the most. And then limited control over state highways and the need for more law enforcement to keep the trucks from going so fast. And then the opportunities. As I said a second ago, there's growth pressure here. The jail and the new park and the new businesses and the new developments that you see starting out here, they could present opportunities. And there is opportunities for development, whether it be to attract new residents, to tourism, 55-plus homes, and business growth, hospitality, youth options, things like that. And an opportunity to mold development standards for higher quality. These are all the things that folks said. And then the threats. I put this picture up. This is actually a picture within the county. I just thought it was really pretty. And I made it black and white so it would seem more threatened. The competition from neighboring areas. And that kind of goes two ways. I think that there's competition, what I saw, competition for jobs and stuff, but also being surrounded by busy areas leads to traffic at a crossroads community, which is a threat. And then over-commercialization and loss of small town character. I see that. You see the new development happening, and it could threaten the small town character and increase taxes and bring in folks who, they come out here to be near agriculture, but then they complain about the agriculture issues associated with that. And then the risk of, low-quality housing and other developments that just get thrown up too fast and won't last forever. And the impact on local business. The key takeaways of the SWOT is that y'all want to maintain your small-town charm. protect and support local businesses. And the new businesses that you want here, you want to be local and small. Avoid the large grocery chains, and new developments should serve locals and families that visit the new park. Yeah. And then enhance walkability and sidewalks. Again, that was a really big one. And then the most important opportunities were the ability to coordinate with the county, the new county park, and the new town centers. So that's the summary of the SWOT. We're still gathering background information, obviously, and I'm just sharing it with you. Survey results. Who took the survey? We had about 80 responses to the survey, which for a town this size is pretty good. It's not statistically significant. To get a statistically significant survey of a town of about 1,600 people at a 95% confidence within a 5% range, you'd need like 300 responses. And if we could get 300 responses from a town this size, it would be a miracle. We do plans in cities that are much bigger, and I think the most we've ever had is 300. And this could be for a big, like a medium-sized city, like, I don't know, would we do one in Waycross, Monroe? Places that are a lot bigger than here, but then some even bigger than Monroe. So 300 would be incredible, but 80 is not bad. So, survey results. Who took the survey? The vast majority of the folks who took the survey live in Monroe. That's the green line. The blue one is they work here in Monroe. I meant Walnut Grove, I'm sorry. I did something similar to this in Monroe about 4 years ago. The yellow is I live and work in Walnut Grove, and then the blue one is just somebody who decided to take the survey who doesn't live or work in Monroe. Gosh, I'm going to stop saying Monroe. Walnut Grove, I am so sorry. Yeah, so the time change affects everybody, even me. So, all right. One of the questions was, what 3 words would you use to describe Walnut Grove today? And these are the top words. Those of you who are familiar with word clouds will know that the bigger the word is, the more times it was said. The smaller the word is, the fewer times it was said. And these are the top 20 words. Everything from thriving, small, quiet, community, growing, safe, traffic, busy. I really like this. I think it says a story right up there, right? Also some conflict. You know, busy and quiet. Things are changing. What aspects of Walnut Grove would you like to preserve as it grows? Small town feel. What did you all mean by that? You meant, well, you wrote in the comments that, because this was an open-ended question, small town feel means knowing your neighbors, knowing the government and the library folks. It also means not a busy place, a place with smaller businesses. There's no Walmart here. It's tight. It's a tight community. Preservation, you want to preserve that, specifically historic buildings and historic feel. There were growth and development concerns, and community amenities wanted to be preserved, for example, the park, the library, and things like that. And then they also wanted to preserve the rural and peaceful environment, which is not a surprise, and the quality of life here in Walnut Grove. And then what changes or improvements would you most like to see over the next 10 or 20 years? We have traffic and infrastructure, business development, and by business development, it was small businesses, entrepreneurship for local people. Preservation of small town feel again, community amenities again, and public services, specifically law enforcement. What words best describe the vision for the future of Walnut Grove? You can read those. Again, a little bit of conflict, modern and accessible and small and cozy. And what kind of public facilities would you like the town of Walnut Grove to invest in over the next 5 years? There are 3 standouts. The first is parks and plazas. The second is bike and pedestrian trails. And the third is local road improvements. The other, you see other, there's like 12% wrote other. Sidewalks, it was all sidewalks, every single one of them. I didn't put sidewalks up here. What kind of housing do you think is needed in Walnut Grove? It's a big chart, it's busy, but I didn't know how to shrink it down well enough. The top ones are all single family. Does this thing work? Yeah. So single family, this is the smaller ones, half-acre lots. More than half-acre lots is the one that was selected the most. Homes with 3 bedrooms or more. And then this is single family with accessory dwelling units. Accessory dwelling units are things like granny flats, in-law suites, things like that. Live-work units and senior housing were the two that were the most popular that were not single family. And interesting, the other most popular, and it was unanimous. It was none. Don't need more housing. So I thought that was interesting too. What kind of neighborhood do you imagine you'll want to live in 5 years from now? Check all to apply. Entirely single-family houses is what this top green one is. This one is connected to a greenway system. And then we go down to a town center, mixed use, and then a mixture and a senior community. Least popular was a multifamily complex. How would you like to get around Walnut Grove if all modes were easy and safe? People still love their cars. It's not surprising. It's in our DNA as Americans. The next is walking and golf carts, which is consistent with the trails and sidewalks. Nobody wants to use the Uber and Lyft around here. It's kind of more of an urban thing, I get that. And then a shuttle or circulator, maybe someday. What do you think are some of the top needs for economic development in Walnut Grove? The top one is new downtown and related items. And then these two down here, the next ones, development of vacant properties and assistance for small businesses. Those are consistent with each other too, which is good. The lower ones were resources for soft skills, training of workforce, and attracting tourism. And then here's attracting higher wage jobs. So the survey had a lot more questions than that, but there are some key takeaways that we got when we looked at the survey. The first is traffic and infrastructure are a big deal. You want to improve traffic flow, and again, this might not be something that the town specifically has much control over. The traffic flow on the highways, but the roundabout hopefully will help. And then how these areas are designed can also impact traffic flow on those highways. If people don't enter and exit those highways at a bunch of different places to get to the new developments, things like that. So how these new developments are designed can impact traffic flows on those highways. Add more sidewalks and pedestrian spaces, and manage congestion through smart development. Business development, local businesses, grocery stores, restaurants, and small shops. Now, I said grocery stores, but I think I might have had a slide up there, maybe not, that said no chain grocery stores. So specifically, people like that one in Monroe. Is it Jack's? John's. I've been in there. They got some neat little deli things. They're good. So business development and mom and pop shops over large chains. And then focus on businesses that meet community needs without overcrowding. Again, small business. Balancing growth with small town charm. Maintain the rural small town atmosphere. Promote sustainable and thoughtful development. Plan ahead. And protect green space and prevent overcrowding. Again, that came up a lot. Community amenities, parks and walking trails. Also heard that we're going to have a giant, or y'all are going to have a giant park over here anyway, so maybe don't need as much park as you thought, but maybe some smaller ones within the city or within the town to serve local people. And add a community garden, expand the library, and some event spaces. Event spaces came up a lot. It could be an amphitheater, small amphitheater, kind of a meeting place for people who live here, for town folk to get together, talk, have a cup of coffee, that kind of thing. Public services, public safety with more police presence. That came up a couple times. And then new community service, things like paper shredding, junk removal, things like that. And then affordable housing without large apartment complexes came up. Maintain manageable school sizes and smaller neighborhoods. And then keep the community identity of Walnut Grove. Control growth, again. Be consistent. Develop some identity, some ways to preserve the identity. And then learn from Monroe's growth model while avoiding the larger surrounding city trends. And a bunch of cities were named that people don't like, but I won't go into that. This is my one-sentence summary. Enhance infrastructure, support local business, preserve Walnut Grove's small-town charm, expand community amenities, improve public services, and manage growth to maintain affordability and identity. Does that sound about right? In one sentence. There, we're done. No, just kidding. So that was the summary of the SWOT and the survey. Again, it was a high-level summary. There could be more details in the report and that City Council can mull over. The report will be in and on the website for y'all to look at. As I said, this presentation is on there already, so if you want to look at it there, you can. So now to the visual preference survey. How'd I do? Good. Okay. So what is a visual preference survey? Well, you're looking at it. What we're going to do is we're going to give you all each and every one of you is going to get a sheet of red dots and green dots. And you're going to go up to all these boards, and you don't have to do them in order. You can do them however you want. And at the top of the board, each board, it says, for example, this says, which streetscape design should dominate a new downtown development? And having done enough work in small towns, and even here in Walnut Grove, I know that there are people in this room that don't want new downtown development. But you can see that the construction is happening. It's happening. This is a chance to kind of control what it could look like as it comes in, okay? So even if you don't want something that's on one of these boards, still look at it and give it some honest dots, okay? Each of you is going to get, I think, a total of 24 dots, but if you need more, we have more. You put a green dot on things you like, a red dot on things you hate, and if you're kind of neutral, just leave it alone. And then when everybody has a chance to do that, and we're done, we're going to go through this board by board, and I'm going to learn what you meant by your dots. So, Bobby, can you pass out some dots? Does anybody have any questions about anything I've presented or what we're about to do with the visual preference survey? Ma'am. She's looking for rules. All right, rules. We have a rule follower here, maybe. You can put as many dots on a single board as you want, but I do ask that you only put one dot per picture. So don't take all 24 dots and put them, all 24 red dots and put them on something you don't like. Okay, so one dot per picture or none. And if you need more, we have more, as I said. So, ma'am. There will be in the report. So the survey is more of a, this is what people said. And then it's up to Bobby and me Bobby and I. Bobby and me? I don't know. I wish. Wouldn't that be cool if I could sing? Um, we will, it'll be in the report. You're right. That's one of the conflicts. There are several conflicts of things that have come up, and I've only pointed out a couple of them. But we're not here to talk about conflicts. We're here to learn about what was in the survey and do the sticky dots. But yes, that's a really good question. That's right. And this will lay the foundation for your comprehensive planning efforts. And that'll kind of spell out strategies to address these things. The plan, this is more the vision of what people want in the city. Any other questions, concerns, issues? Are we good? All right. Does everybody have their sticky dots? All right, let's get started on the visual preference survey. There's a mute button. All right, let's see what everybody said. And as I said before, some of these may seem obvious to you all, but they're not always obvious to us. So that's why we're going to go over all the boards. So it's up to you to make sure I understand what they're saying, okay? And don't be shy. It's hard to hurt my feelings. It's not impossible, but it's hard. Okay, this is what type of development pattern you find most appealing in a mixed-use area. Got a really good question about this. If this is single-family homes and this is townhomes, how is that mixed use? Well, it's not, unless it's part of a bigger development that has different uses. So, lots of green, some red here. This is single-family homes in a mixed-use area. In general, it sounds like people like single-family, not townhomes, for a mixed-use area. They don't like apartments with ground floor retail because it's a big scale. Kind of looks like Helen. Anyway, and smaller scale residential above retail. Pretty popular. Does anybody who put a red dot up here want to say why they put a red dot up here? It's okay. Or you could write, I should put notes down, like PIP secret. I have that. Hold on. Never mind, I thought I did. Thought I had little note cards. So if you're shy, you could write it on a note card and just give it to me afterwards. Well, I was asking specifically about this one. Smaller scale residential above retail. Most people put green on here. If anybody who put red here would be interested in sharing why they put red. Let me turn that around. Somebody put green here. Explain to me why they put green. Yes. Okay, see, I didn't get that from the picture. This is why I'm asking, okay? So we're thinking more condominiums, opportunities for home ownership. And on this one, was it the scale of it? Just because it's big? It's what, 1, 2, 3, 4 stories up here. It's just too big. Too big for Walnut Grove, okay. This one, number 3, is too big for Walnut Grove. But the concept is probably okay with retail on the ground floor, maybe one layer of condos on top, okay? Townhomes. Are you talking about number 2, townhomes? Mixed use area. So this would be new development in kind of the downtown mixed use area. So what I'm hearing is townhomes might be okay if there's only a few of them. And nobody has said this, but I'm going to suggest that maybe, I'm going to guess, that also condos, home ownership for the townhomes too. Okay. What else about this? Anything else? What am I? Yes, ma'am. I'll get to you next. right? So what I'm hearing is it's a mixed-use area with a variety of housing all kind of close together. Okay. Yes. Man back there. Because it's not on here. Okay. Senior living. Yes? No? All right. I'm seeing a lot of nods. We could do hands, Bobby. Yeah, there's no particular number for senior housing on this. General. It sounds like everybody wishes that there was a place to stick a green dot for senior housing. In downtown. I love that. All right, I'm going to move on to this. Ma'am. Okay, so number 4 could attract families to the maybe a little bit more affordable housing. Yeah. All right, I'm going to put this away, but that it doesn't mean it's forgotten. So if you want to come back to it, we can. Pictures 5 through 8. Architectural style do you prefer for new development? You know, I originally had wanted to put like modern, French colonial, but then I couldn't figure out what some of these were. So I deleted all, erased them all. But what I'm seeing is this first one, number 5, right here, right there, this one, kind of neutral to negative, and I would call that modern. Did I get that right? It's not modern? Number 7 is modern, and it got all reds. Yeah, I get that. Okay. I'm going to bring this down here and try not to fumble with it too much. Okay. So this one here, neutral to no. Is it just the design of it? I don't know. It's ugly. Okay. No ugly new development. Okay. So modern is out. Number 5 is too tall. It's number 5. This is 5, 6, 7, 8. This helps us with our notes. Well, it is New Orleans. Right? But some people liked it. So the people who put green, why'd you put green? It's okay that you put green. I want to know why. Yeah, we like New Orleans. It's fun. That's an excellent point. Number 6 here, the New Orleans, and number 8, which is Smyrna, lend itself to smaller scale residential above retail. Yes. Okay, so sneaky people watching. All right. Now we know what she does in her free time. All right. So, no ugly buildings. Super modern architecture may not be appropriate for Walnut Grove. Residential above retail, probably the most appropriate. We don't necessarily want New Orleans, but we do like New Orleans. You know, one thing that I like about this picture is you can tell it's high quality architecture. You know, that thing's going to be there 100 years from now. This one maybe not. It's unique. Yes. Yes. Who's been to this development in Smyrna, the new development downtown? You live there. Okay. Are you? Yeah. It actually, this is just one chunk of it. It has a variety of different designs, and it's very interesting. And was all built at roughly the same time, but there's a Williamsburg style development with the big patio wraparound, and then there's something like this, and then so it almost looks like an old. And when all the trees get big, it's going to look like a historic old place, old downtown. It's kind of neat. Okay. Ma'am. Okay. Can you write that down, Bobby? So when the trees get big, it should not look like a 10-year-old development. It should look like an older one. Okay. Ma'am. Okay. It's instead of running from awning to awning. Yeah. Number 6. All right. Oh, does anybody have any more comments on this particular board? Photos 5 through 8. Again. Water features. Aw, love that. Thank you. This one's almost all green. What type of public spaces should be prioritized in new downtown development? Neighborhood parks, plazas and gathering spaces, amphitheater, greenways and trails. There's one red dot. I don't want to call anybody out. It's like I'm not supposed to do that as a facilitator, but I can't help it. Yes. Okay. It might not be the appropriate place. This is for number 9. That's the only red dot, is that downtown might not be the appropriate spot. I'll get to you in one second. Does Walnut Grove need more neighborhood parks outside the area, outside of downtown? Improve the current park. Should that be a higher priority than putting new neighborhood parks in? All right. Okay. Did y'all hear all that? Yeah, okay.
So also the county park that is literally going to be on the other side of our downtown development is going to have an amphitheater that seats 3,000 people. So I don't know if it's that important for us as a city to have another amphitheater versus a community gathering spot maybe.
Okay, okay. So Bobby, number 12 is going to be at the county park also.
Maybe instead of like an amphitheater, maybe like a town green that we could host local
Like something smaller like this plaza gathering space thing. Yeah. Number 10. Yeah, number 12 would be better as a town green, kind of like number 10 looks. And then greenways and trails should be a new development. I'm sorry, I forgot. Yes, ma'am. All right, so what I'm hearing is this whole page. I'll summarize it in a second. Ma'am.
with the park. I think with the city park, the park that I go in, the new rec center that's going in. I think in the future, think park swing, but it does not have to be that as well. You do have more modern park equipment where it's just like the yeah, the truck where kids can just climb on and play. That's not the full slide. So as she's saying with the walking, when you're having events or if there's an event on the town green, you still have something that the kids can play on that's not the actual, okay, I want to take my kids to the park and that's, work just to cater for whenever it is.
I'm sure there's a word for that, but I don't know what it is. Oh, what? Oh, okay. Yeah, but I can. A pocket park that's with it, but you don't. It's not necessarily a destination, but like the coffee shop next to it is the destination, or the city event is the destination. Right. A place like Wire Park in Watkinsville is like that.
And the mall in Georgia that has a little area too.
Yeah. Sir.
What will be the connector from Walnut Road to the corn dogs facility? Will you be able to drive, or will it be walk only, or not? Not even.
Right now we're hoping for a walking path. There will not be a driving path.
All right. We've got a bunch more boards to go. Again, it's down here, but it's not forgotten. Thank you. Which streetscape design should dominate in new downtown development? Okay. We don't want car-centric streets. Yeah, nobody does, right? I hate that. There's like these people walking and they have to walk in the middle of the street because there's nowhere else to walk. Yeah, I knew that would get all red dots. Sidewalks, landscaping, and on-street parking. We'll come back to this one. Narrow streets with shared spaces. I think this is popular in Europe on new developments there. It would be kind of unique to have here. But I think red dots would probably dominate that one. This is more traditional. dedicated bike lanes with a buffer. Does that seem appropriate for Walnut Grove or not? Doesn't seem like it is, but maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah. Right, where are they going to go, right? They're, they're, right, right. If it was a golf cart path, would you think differently? All right, write that down, Bobby. Number 15, if it was a golf cart, it'd be more popular. I saw a hand back there.
And I have seen bikes on the sidewalks, like in front of the liquor store, going like towards the enclave, but they're riding on the sidewalks.
Are we gonna just keep the old sidewalks from the liquor store up to the intersection and down, back down up, front of the, city hall now? Those, I walk a lot. I'm the guy you probably see with the derby short every corner and sweatshirt. And those sidewalks are pretty much through there. I don't know if there's any plans.
Roundabout has an intersection of sidewalks along this way. And I know just from speaking to council and from community members, and you've seen it tonight, everybody's choosing to do more sidewalks throughout the city. And I think that's something that council needs to set.
Sorry to get off.
That's all right. It's all valuable discussion. Thank you. All right, I had a really good comment about this first one, and I want to parse it out. I made the mistake of saying sidewalks, landscaping, and on-street parking and lumping them all together. So I know that this red dot is because they don't want on-street parking. All right? Does anybody else want to comment on that as far as on-street parking versus sidewalks and land? All right, let's take a vote. Looks like everybody put a green dot here. Who did it because of the sidewalks? Put your hands up. Mixed bag. Landscaping. On-street parking. Ma'am. So angled parking is okay. There's another parking board. Yes, okay. 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 So sidewalks, yes. Landscaping, yes. On-street parking is a mixed bag. But there's a parking board over there, too. So, all right. Anybody else have any comments on photos 13 through 16? All we have is better with golf carts. So when you think of golf carts in your downtown area, are they on paths? Or are they in the street?
In the downtown area, the speed
Yeah.
limit shouldn't be any higher than 35, so I would think that they can be on the street. What I'm most concerned about is no one lives in the downtown area, so how do the golf carts get to the downtown area without crossing over a major highway?
Yeah, so there's safety issues with golf carts on the state highways for sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes, 14 is narrow streets with shared spaces. Okay. Okay. So for Bobby, for number 14, can you put on side streets and maybe local traffic only, golf carts, pedestrians? I like the street festival idea too.
Well, Court Street, in Monroe on Court Street, that's where they have the farmer's market. And it has parking on both sides and
You could have a farmer's market there. All right. Sounds like that's what they do in a lot of places, yeah. All right. 17 through 20. Sustainability features. Looks like in general, sustainability gets the thumbs up. Permeable pavers, they've come a long way over the last few decades. When I went to city planning school in the late 90s, people didn't like permeable pavers because they didn't work as well as they do now, but they've come a long way, just kind of like our computers and phones and all that kind of stuff. Looks like they're popular, possible. It's also a way to add a unique feel to the area because there's a lot of design options with the pavers. Natural, native landscaping and tree preservation. I knew I'd get all green dots. And same with rain gardens and bioswales. Especially, I put a really pretty one here. So much potential for this to add to the downtown. Athens recently put some of these in, and they had the local garden club do the plantings and maintain them. They look great. Electric vehicle charger stations, got a mixed bag. Can anyone help me understand why? Just curious. Number 20. Okay. Great. So it sounds like is that a consensus? Do other people want to see electric vehicle chargers?
but I was thinking it could go in the convenience store that not in the downtown area.
Okay.
I feel like we don't have enough land in our downtown area for that. There is a place back behind a law office in Covington that has 3 electrical charging stations, and it's very off the beaten path. And I'm pretty sure it was installed because the business owners have 3 electric vehicles. It wasn't for the, I don't think it's for the
All right. Are there any other sustainability features that you want to see dominating downtown that I didn't think of? Rainwater collection could count here, but yes, rainwater collection opportunities. right, so number 17, if there's accessibility issues, then it's probably not the best thing, but anything that helps with flooding is good. And all these things, permeable pavers, more foliage, trees and whatnot, as well as bioswales and rain gardens help with flooding. Very cool. I don't know if y'all heard that, but sometimes a lot of times the permeable pavers are not good for truck traffic. Justify those no through truck signs. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, that's what we just talked about. Yes. Yeah. All right, commercial design approach. I knew we'd get all red dots for a giant parking lot. The square footage of this is probably bigger than the whole town. But you see these shopping malls going up all over the place. Not here. All right, we like walkable with outdoor seating. This is super consistent with the downtown or the mixed use areas and yeah. Because when you have people living up here, they get out and walk around too. And they should shop and stuff. This is in Watkinsville. Mixed use with ground floor retail. Got a couple red dots. Was that a design issue or was that, ma'am? Number 23. Yes, yes. So for all these developments and all these things that are coming, economic development initiatives, small business, if a local wants to put a flower shop in, what can the town do to help them? Free advertising, a flower festival, I don't know, something like that. And this one, business clusters, that's just a weird word from downtown. This is Smyrna too, by the way. Like a office, retail, residential, office to retail. It's just a mix of different things. So that's confusing. I didn't mean it to be, sorry. This one I don't think we need to talk about that much because I feel like we've already hit this one quite a bit. You don't want a bunch of giant parking lots. Which looks like parking lots is the last one, or second to the last one. And a summary of all this is going to end up on the website, just so you know. All right, this is which elements would best contribute to a Walnut Grove identity. We've talked about this a lot, heard a lot about the identity of Walnut Grove. How do we preserve it? Is it public art and murals? Got a red dot here. Maybe they just don't like the Athens one. I don't know. Is there anybody who put the red dot here willing to tell us why? Okay, it's fine. Wayfinding sign. This is obviously Commerce, Georgia. Who's been to downtown Commerce, Georgia, the little town part? It's actually adorable, and these signs have a lot to do with it. It's very cute. It sounds like that could be something to help maintain the identity of Walnut Grove if it's designed right and in the right places. In Madison, Georgia, the town has a system where businesses can buy one of these and put an arrow to their own business, which is kind of cool. It's a little money for the town and advertising for the business, and it looks cool. We did the Rutledge Comprehensive Plan, that's why I have this picture. So signage, welcome signs, and spaces for community events. They don't seem really related, but they are. This could be that kind of alleyway. It could be the plaza. Sounds like a space for community events. It's definitely something that's popular. What am I missing on this one, ma'am? This is for number 27. It could be either one. Okay, that would something that would need to be fleshed out if the city decides to pursue signs. Do they want it on the city limits? Welcome to our city, welcome to our town, or welcome to our downtown. Right. I think it'd be a collective. There'd be a sign to the city park somewhere, 26. So that would not just downtown, but throughout the town. The town absolutely needs design guidelines. So all of this is cohesive, and it would have to do with ensuring that Walnut Grove has a specific identity that's beyond the scope of this particular project. But yes, absolutely, design guidelines. But as far as public art and murals go, those would only be approved by the council. So no design guidelines for the public murals. Does that make sense? That's like art. You wouldn't put it on that building. No. Right, right. But, there's probably places all over town, and this doesn't have to be just downtown on new development. You all probably can think of a place in your head. I can't, because I don't know the area as well as you, but a building that's a wall. No, let's hear it. hit that? Identity events. Nope, nope, you're absolutely right. But that doesn't mean you can't have murals. One of the things that they do, I keep bringing up Athens because I worked in Athens for a while. You know, we had a competition for painting fire hydrants. You know, that a lot of towns do that, but in Athens, they were all had to be Athens themed somehow, like music. And it was cool, right? And things like that. Or some towns, it's like, I think that having the bulldogs or what is it? One of the towns has turtles, and I think there's one that has frogs. I don't know. That's either a good idea. Cows, yeah. Chicago started it with cows. There's a lot that can be done. Okay, parking. Parallel parking. No. Angled parking. Yes. And that goes with the one. Okay. Multi-level, so no parking decks. And then parking lots. Got a lot of green. So that's number 31. So what I'm hearing is that having a parking structure that kind of dominates the visual landscape is not wanted, but y'all need to park somewhere. Yeah. Right. So parking solutions before it all is built up and there's nowhere to put a parking lot.
Also, if you've got an amphitheater and it's holding 800, 1,200, whatever people, you got to park somewhere.
And we already talked about how there wasn't that much land available, so building up is going to help bring parking.
Underground parking. I wanted to put that on here, but it's hard to find a picture of underground parking. Right, underground parking up there, Bobby. Thank you. What she's asking is when you have housing above retail, the people who live there, where do they park? It depends on the development. Usually behind the building somewhere. Or sometimes they don't provide parking and they have to go park somewhere else. But usually behind. You think of a town like Monroe, it's easy to find a parking spot in Monroe, unless it's a city event, unless you're there for the car show or something. There's like behind the building, there's a lot of parking. No, but behind the buildings, you gotta go behind the buildings. As an aside, Bobby, can you write, I keep hearing crossing the highways is a huge problem. Golf carts, bikes, walking, you can't walk to the new developments. I mean, we already know that, but if I write it down, I'll remember to write it down elsewhere too. All of them, all of them. Shade for parking and probably everything else too, right? Shade trees. Somebody brought up the balconies, and that's not just to protect you from the rain, it's shade too. All right, you guys. Oops, we're running late. Push the parking onto the developers. Everyone here will agree with that one. Good. Okay. So that's number 31, safety issues, like personal safety issues. All right, I've run over time. I apologize for that. Who has a friend who's not at this meeting? Yeah, I have a bunch of them too, yeah. So there's a printout version of this visual preference survey. It's a little bit different. Instead of putting sticky dots, you ranked them 0, 3 to 5. These are available at City Hall and maybe at the library. So if you tell your friends to go to the website and either print this out, it's on the documents page, or go to City Hall and grab one, do the survey, return it to City Hall, it will get to us and get combined with this information and end up in the report and hopefully in the comprehensive plan. So this is important. And otherwise, y'all will be the only ones representing. You might like that, I don't know. All right. And the website, envisionwalnutgrove.com, okay? Again, all the documents are there. The presentation is there. The printout visual preference survey is there. The next workshop is April 4th. We'll do our final visualizing, and you guys will give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down to everything that I've learned in developing a vision with you for your community. I think we've come a long way. We've made some progress. So, does anybody have any questions or comments or concerns for me before the mayor comes up and says some closing words? Parade. You can close highways for parades. I know you. I know they can. I've been stymied by that before. That's right. That's right. All right.
Oh. I don't like microphones. Guys, I want to thank y'all for coming again tonight. We had a nice turnout again. This is a new thing for the city of Walnut Grove and for us. I encourage you and I challenge you, please come to the next meeting. Bring a friend. Bring somebody who has talked about the city, about what they like, what they don't like. The more folks we have here, the better off the future of our city is going to be, the better our lives are going to be. So please, I challenge you, bring a friend. Also, when you go home, I know there's a lot of people on social media. There's a lot of people who aren't, and that's okay. But if you have the opportunity, you can go to Envision Walnut Grove, share that. Get people to do the survey. I want to see if we can get 300 people to do that survey to make a difference, to find out what it really is going on in people's minds in our city. I think y'all enjoyed tonight, being able to have an input, being able to have a voice. It's very important. If there's anybody here tonight who is interested in more involvement in the city, there were people here tonight who had expert advice and expert ideas. And I'm looking around. It's like you've done this before, either in your work or you've had experience in this, and we need more people like you guys. And if you are interested in being on a committee or even just talking with the council or myself, I'm interested in talking to you because I am not an expert in this. I want to know your opinions. I want to know what you think needs to happen. And if you've had the experience and you can share that, then we're all going to be better for it. So I've made a couple of challenges. Please share the survey. Please go ahead and share the preference. And please bring somebody to the next meeting. It's our last one. And we need to make sure that this is making a difference for the city of Walnut Grove, okay? I thank you all for coming. City of Walnut Grove City Hall is open to everyone, even if you just want a tour of what's going on, or you want to come talk to me, or you have an idea, or you want to see a council member, or whatever the case is. The door is open. You're always welcome to just stop by and say hi, and hopefully you will. It's an open invitation, okay? But we'll see you hopefully at the next one. Bring a friend, and we'll go from there. And I hope you all enjoy your week. Get used to those time changes, and hang in there, okay? I am. But thanks for coming tonight. I appreciate it, guys.